So I want to talk to you today about the future.
And that's why so many are calling for a great reset.
I see the need for a great reset.
We will have not less, we will have more globalization.
In the coming decades, AI and biotechnology will give us
Godlike ability.
Goedendag allemaal. Vandaag een heel bijzonder gesprek. Wat ik in het Engels ga voeren. Misschien kunt u het op YouTube laten ondertitelen in het Nederlands. Dat is up to you, so to say. But from now on I will go on in English. And I have a very special guest here. His name is Moshe Peleg. And I met him 2 weeks ago when I had a trip in Israel with some pastors. And we had a very nice Shabbat evening with this Moshe. He's a very good cooker.
I didn't cook.
He didn't cook himself, but he served it, and we had a very nice thing. And when I asked him to come here, he had only one condition. There must be a possibility for some sense of humor. I like you here, Moshe Peleg. Why that condition? Why humor? Why is that so important for you?
First of all, life is too heavy to be serious.
Yeah.
So you can't really deal with life without sense of humor.
You need it.
You need it for your life, and you need it even for what I'm doing in Israel is helping kids at risk, like specifically mostly girls. To bring them, to take them out from the street and so on, and without sense of humor, you can't do anything.
No,
you can't promote nothing.
No, yeah. So you have to law
and
every
many
day.
times my meetings with Christian people were that people were very strict and very serious and so on. So I don't want to be bored. So I said, "You want me here? Fine." But with a smile.
Well, I welcome you with a very, very big smile.
Thank you very much.
You live in Jerusalem, in Meomek Halev. Do I say it well? So,
right.
That's a very old part of Jerusalem.
It's a very old part of Jerusalem, and the population there are like ultra-Orthodox, people that are very strict.
Yes, you are yourself also.
If I'm strict as
yes.
well, I'm very strict. But to be a strict Jew, it doesn't say that you can't have a sense of humor. So,
I thought that it was for everyone, but some Orthodox Jews don't have a sense of humor.
Yes, some of them doesn't have.
No, also like Dutch Calvinistic people. Yes,
exactly. Yes,
never law. How do they raise their children without humor?
It's not that they never, like once in 30 years.
Okay. I would say that's never, but it's not very much.
Not very much, yes.
And Meomek Halev was founded, I thought, in the 19th century already.
Right. Meomek Halev was started. This was the second place that Jews went out of the walls.
Yes.
From the old city. This was a neighborhood that were built.
And it was in what year of the common area? 1870, 1890, about
something like 180 years ago.
Okay,
approximately.
I ask it because a lot of people in Netherlands think that the whole country was empty and only filled with some Palestinians. And after 1948, the Jews came to Israel,
and conquered and threw the Palestinians away.
Out, yes.
So the real story is totally the opposite. First of all, the country was almost empty. There were little places that were Jews and that were Arabs there. But we have to understand, to know that the Jews were kicked out from Israel 2,000 years ago.
By the Romans.
By the Romans,
yes.
Exactly. Like the Holy Temple and were destroyed. And there were nations that started 3,000 something years ago. King David made Jerusalem as his capital.
Yes.
And through all these years, actually, Israel was empty, besides a couple of Jewish communities that were living in very few places, and Muslims, Islam started at the 600th century, around this time. And people that came to Israel, that they called themselves Palestinians, that it's a fake name, by the way.
Why?
I'll tell you immediately.
Yeah.
Even though the name of this street is almost
Palestrina.
But
it was an artist.
It was funny to... Right. Because everybody, actually, all the Arabs that are living here in Israel, or let's say 98%, there were a couple of Muslims that came a long time ago, not enough long time ago, like the Jewish nations that were here, but they came actually from tribe. There were tribes that came from Saudi Arabia, Syria, Egypt, and so on. Like, go and ask Yasser Arafat where his parents came from.
Yes,
his descendants came from, and all the other Arabs, they are not original from Israel. None of them. If you go 100 years ago, 100 years back, or let's say 500 years back, there was no. If you ask, what does it mean Palestinian? Palestinian, it started with the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization. This was a great creation, invention of the Arab countries for kicking out the Jews.
Yeah.
So they gave a name. First of all, Palestine was a name that the Romans gave to the Jews, that they wanted to tease them, because the Plishtim, there were nations that were living like in Gaza Strip, and they were enemies
from Israel.
Right. For instance, Goliath and David.
Yes.
You know the story from the Bible.
We have the Bible on the table here, so I know
exactly.
all the stories.
So nobody can argue with Nobody can argue with the Bible. So Goliath was Plishti.
Yeah.
And then the Romans gave to the Jews the name Palestine. Why? Because they wanted, to make laugh of them. So that's how it started. And you can find on the coins, old coins that were coins in Israel of the Jews.
Yes.
Palestine, Eretz Israel. The name of it was not a state, but it was a place that the Jews still were living here.
Yeah.
There was a couple of communities. Was the name of Israel, of the land of Israel, became Palestine because of that.
So the Jews, Israel has lived all those 1,000 years, not very many, but they lived there
Hebron,
all the time.
In Jerusalem, there were a couple of places that they were living. Yeah. And so the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the name even was given in 1960 something. I don't remember exactly, maybe 1968 or 66.
Something like that.
Something like that.
I remember Arafat who claimed that name.
Right. So this is really a fake nation. They don't have any unity. They don't have anything. They don't have a history. Ask a Palestinian today who was the leader before Yasser Arafat to the Palestinians. He will shut his mouth.
Well,
there was no. He was the first leader of the Palestinians. Which coin they used 200 years ago? Nothing. Which name they had? What did they? There was no history, no nothing.
So the history of the Holy Land, so to say, because we call it the Holy Land, is Israel. Since David,
since 3,000 and something years, like Trump, that we are very thankful that he recognized Jerusalem as a new capital, the new capital of Israel, Jerusalem.
Yes.
Since 3,000 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
I mean, after 1,000 years, that it was like a big nation. Most of the Jews were kicked out from the land. It's like somebody is entering, taking your house, okay, kicking you out from your house, okay,
Yeah.
and then one day you return, the house remained empty. One day you returned, okay, and then somebody else came and controlled one of the rooms. Okay, somebody took one of your rooms in your apartment and you took 2 rooms, and then people, United Nations came and said, look, that's like give them identity. Fine. So Israel was willing to separate the land to 2, where the Arabs were sitting in our home, because you are living there. So come and say, out of humanity and so on, you are living there, fine, stay. And where Jews sitting, where Arabs sitting, fine. Even though that it's not their land, but still, they are living there, fine. At that moment that United Nations decided to divide Israel to 2, 7 countries, Arab countries, started to attack these small refugees, people that came from Holocaust back to their homeland, attacked Israel like the Independent War.
I know.
If you remember.
Yes, of course. I was a young boy and I followed it on the radio and television.
Right, and then Israel won by a miracle, because against armies.
Well, much bigger.
They had everything. They have tanks, they have airplanes, they have everything. And here they were fighting against some refugees that didn't have even a skin almost on their bones,
Yeah.
They were fighting for their lives, and Israel expanded a little bit to the border of 67. Right? And the Arabs started to cry. Oh, they took our land. Which land did they took? First of all the land almost was empty. First of all. That's the first thing. And second of all, it's like the Cossack, the Cossack from that used to make terrible things in Russia at that time. Like a Cossack is coming with a knife, to kill you, and you was able to take his knife from his hand, and he started to cry, oh, you stole my knife, you stole my knife.
Yeah.
What do you want? You came to kill me after I let you to stay in my home and to sit in one room from the apartment that we have, that it's ours. What do you want? You wanted to kill me, go away. So I don't see a solution. And the Kabbalah books that the Dutch people doesn't like to hear the name Kabbalah.
Wow.
No, it's okay now. Yeah, it's better.
For me it's okay.
Okay.
Not totally okay, but a lot of it.
It's very, very interesting what Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai wrote 2,000 years ago. It's really like a prophecy. He said that the sons of Ishmael, before Messiah will come, will conquer a third of the world. And he said that because they are making Brit Milah, how do you say Brit Milah? It's circumstances.
Yes.
Because they are making circumstances, but they don't do a fully circumstances. Ishmael.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So they will have a right from God to control the country, and they'll make troubles to the Jews until Messiah will come. And then the right that they receive from making circumstances will be finished. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting because this was a prophecy 2,000 years ago, and he spoke about the sons of Ishmael, that the future became Arabs.
For 2,000 years or more till the Messiah will come.
Right.
So
because they are making a part of, and why say it so? Because there are 2 sentences in the Torah that are attached one to each other. One of them is circumstances, and one of them is the right on the land. So Reb Shimon Bar Yochai explains why they are attached one to each other, these 2 sentences from the Bible. So he says that these actually connect to that.
Yes.
The right to sit in the land connects to the circumstances.
I see.
Very interesting thing. 2,000 years ago.
Well, great. there are said a lot of wise things 2,000 years
100%
ago. Yeah.
It's not like our generation.
Well, now, also in this generation there are wise men. I think, and I hope, and sometimes I meet them. I see some wisdom in you, but it's always tricky to say that to a man because you can be too proud on it, and wouldn't be wise. But you are working in Jerusalem with young girls, mostly girls. I thought only girls.
No, we have girls, and we have another program for boys as well. But for girls, we have dormitories like warm homes, warm shelters as well. Because
we say the Holy Land, but not everyone in the Holy Land is holy. There are some very unholy things happening with children, with girls. Men are doing unholy things with girls, or like everywhere, of course, but also in Israel. And your call was to do something.
And you don't expect from a Holy Land for such a behavior.
I know it. The first time I was in the Holy Land was 30 years ago.
Really?
I rented a car.
Yeah.
And they said to me, you get it full with petrol, and you bring it full back. And then they gave me the car, and I was driving, and saw it's only half full. Wow, they're tricking me. Then I went to the petrol station, and I said, make it full. And it was only a small car, and I didn't know what shekels were, so I paid with my card, and I was driving, and I was 30 kilometers further on, and my wife said, hey, Simon, how big is the tank of this car? I think maximum 30 liters. You just paid for 120 liters of petrol. Wow. I said, welcome in the Holy Land.
Maybe it was without the people, the workers didn't have attention for that.
Oh.
It's the first time I hear.
You don't have to defend it. It happens everywhere.
Really?
It happens here. It happens also because I went to the police station. In that time, I was a police officer. I've been a police officer for 30 years in the Netherlands. Yes, and he told me, Shimon, you trusted him, but in Israel, don't think, check, and double check, and then you can go.
Yeah, you're right, but usually I never heard such a story. No, it doesn't say that it can't be things that are cheatings, but it's not.
Sometimes.
It's not really. Yeah.
Maybe it's over now.
Common.
Maybe it's over now because
I never heard about such a story ever.
But you're working with those girls. How the center? How is it called? What's the name of
the name of the center? Shorashim. But I would like maybe to explain why sometimes you can see things that happens all over the world. You can see it in Israel too, because I know that when I'm here in the Netherlands and other countries, people are shocked to hear that in the Holy Land you can find things that are dark. So it's very interesting that it says that before Messiah will come, before redemption, it will be the hardest time, the darkest time. It's exactly like during the daytime, day and night. The strongest, darkest time of the night is before dawn.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. It's not at the middle of the night. It's not at the beginning of the night. It's right before dawn starts. It's the hardest, the strongest darkness. And here too. And there is a lot, like in the Talmud, in Sanhedrin tractate, there are all the signs what will happen before Mashiach will come. It will be chutzpah. You know what a chutzpah is?
Yes.
Well, how do you say chutzpah in Dutch?
Chotzpah. We also say chotzpah, yes.
So it's going to be chutzpah, it's going to be wars, it's going to be materialism. Like the governments are going to throw away religion and understanding that actually there is a creator that created them and the world and everything. It will not be spirituality. There is a lot of descriptions of what will happen. That the seasons will change. It will be like a climate crisis.
Change. Yes.
It's very interesting. Everything is written there. Even the corona. It says that the Corona actually showed to the people and started to prepare us that a small, tiny virus, right, can stop the globe from going around. No economic, people get lost plenty of money and everything, like people that had buildings that they rented for offices. People didn't work and went away and they couldn't pay mortgage. I know many stories that people that were very rich got into a bankrupt. And what does it shows us? That actually life, we cannot rely on our strengths, money, power, and so on.
And that's the time we live in. People
and that's
do
the time
that.
we are living.
And there are a lot of stories in the Talmud and so on who speak about that. Also we as Christians, we believe in Yeshua, and he also spoke about those things, that it will be like in the days of Noah. It's actually the undertitle of my website. And he said in the end of times it will be like in the days of Noah, when no one serves God, and there has to be a great reset from the world. And only the Messiah will do that. Right. And I think we agree about that. Yeah. But we are living in these hard times, but it's not an option just sitting down and waiting for the Messiah.
Exactly, my friend.
So
you're absolutely right.
Yes.
So I decided, after recognizing that there is a creator, because we have one incredible machine. The eyes are a video machine and a speaker and a microphone and conscious, subconscious feelings. We are an incredible, complicated machine.
Yeah. And more than a machine, I think.
More than a machine, sure.
So we have a soul. That's more than a machine, isn't
100%.
it?
So like a camera testified that there is a company or that there is a factory that built it.
Yes.
And there is a purpose why they made this camera. So, of course, there is a purpose why God created us.
Yes.
So, because there is a purpose, I started to ask myself, okay, what should you do in life? And then I developed, by the way, a certain thing for rehabilitation, for rehabilitate people from emotional problems, depression, and so on. It started, by the way, here in the Netherlands.
It started here?
Yeah, it's very it's an interesting story.
How?
You want to hear?
Yes, I want to hear. I always want to hear stories.
So a rabbi here introduced me to somebody here that has an organization that of people from the nations that supports Israel. I came here for couple of times to give lectures.
Yes.
And then the Corona came, and I couldn't fly anymore. And my students were very sad that they will not be able to see me and to hear me. So they asked me to give a class by Zoom that I'm giving till today, on Tuesdays nights. Most of the students are Dutch, from the Netherlands. So, and people started to come to Israel and to come to visit and to see my place and to meet the girls. And sometimes they used to come and give workshops, like exercises, events, therapy things, each one according to his talents. So once when I came here, they said, look, there is a big problem in the Netherlands, but not only in the Netherlands, like in all the northern countries of Europe, that and in America as well, the northern countries, of depression. People are depressed. More than 30%, they showed me articles from the newspaper, more than 30% are depressed people.
Really true.
So they asked me, what do you do in your center that we find happy people there and people that had distress, people that had emotional problems, depression and so on, and they went out. So I sat down. One of them said, look, I'm willing to gather coaches. Let's make an evening. I said, okay. I was sitting overnight, and what I did spontaneously in my center, I put it on papers. I started to make it more organized.
Yes.
What are the principles of my work? Okay?
Yeah.
How can I take a person from a certain level, right, and bring him up, and then remain the up? Because this is something else, something that you have
to get somewhere is something else than to stay somewhere, of course.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I was sitting, and then I was building 3 days of seminar, like long weekend. If somebody from your audience want to maybe sponsor such a thing, we can do great projects together. And
we will put it on under the video that we show, so they can find you all. You can always find you.
Sure, we can do great things together.
We can show also now one of your videos you sent to me yesterday, and. Sure. Then people can see what you are doing, and some of the girls who are telling about how they were helped.
הרבה בנות שעברו מה שאני עברתי, לא שרדו ובחרו להפסיק לחיות. הייתי לבד, עבודה, בלי אוויר לנשימה, בלי אף אחד שאני אוכל לסמוך עליו. כשהגעתי לבית אמיתי, פעם ראשונה לא הייתי לבד. אנחנו זקוקות לעזרתכם, כדי שהבית ימשיך לפעול למעננו, כדי שהמלחמה היומיומית תהיה קצת פחות קשה.
אסור לך לחשוב כשאת כל כך עייף.
ילדה תמימה, שתהיה ברחוב, היא תיפול לזה. אני אומרת לך אורגנל, כסף, אין לי כסף, אין לי איך לחיות, אין לי זה, ושנייה נופלים לזנות.
את נכנסת לחדרי אשפה כדי שהקשב לא יפגע. זה לעבור מפארק לפארק, כי את מפריעה לאנשים והמשטרה עוצרים אותך. להשתכר בגיל 12 כדי לברוח מהמציאות. כל אחד יכול להגיע למקום שאתה נשאר לבד. זה מה שאף אחד לא מבין. המשפחה לא יכולה להתערב, או כאילו הם לא יכולים לשים עלייך רסן 24/7 ורצועה ולהשגיח עלייך בבית.
ברגע זה יש עוד אלפי בחורות שמסתובבות בלי בית, בלי מקום לישון בו.
אנחנו מבקשות שתעזרו לנו לעזור להם להתקדם, להשתקם ולהגיע למקום פתוח.
אסור לך לחשוב כשאת כל כך עייפה, צי לטיול לעוזריכה רחוקה מהבית.
בעצם זה שלנערות האלה יש כתובת בטוחה להגיע אליה, זה שווה את הכל.
צעירים מאפשרים לנו להיות להם אוזן קשבת.
יש את הקבלה הזאת, את החוסר שיפוטיות, את העניין הזה של הכאן ועכשיו. אנחנו יושבות ומדברות על הכל.
אנחנו באים ועוזרים להם במלחמה הזאת שהם נתקלים בה כל יום. אנחנו יכולים להיות גם כתף, גם אמא, גם אבא.
ולראות אותם באמת, בלי המסכות.
Anyways, this place saved my life.
Why? How?
How? Because you can't find a better place than this place in the whole world.
Why? What's so special here?
It's a place, it's all happiness. It's like a family. I feel like this is my family.
So the three principles are self-awareness, that's the first day.
Yes.
To show incredible things about our body, our soul, the world, creation, understanding that there is somebody that made it, there is a superior power, and because we are a creation, there is a reason why we were created. And then usually you find people that are coming and telling you, okay, Rabbi, you're a nice person. But exactly. Now is coming the but.
Yeah.
But, okay, we understand that we are important. Because usually a person that is depressed feels that he's worthless, feels that nobody sees him.
Why I'm here?
Why I'm here? Right? Feels that nobody cares about him, and like he's not donating, he's not giving, he's not worth anything to the world. So this is a big problem. So people can tell you after they realize that they have a reason why they were created and that they are important, after they realize that there is an importance to their existence, people are coming and telling you, listen, Rabbi, you are a wonderful person, but...
Yes.
Mr. Simon, this is your key word.
Yeah, but.
I don't want to be a part of this game. The world is black. The world is dark.
Awful,
cruel, tragedies. Kids are getting accidents and die. People are sick. Wars.
They don't see a future.
Like this. No future. Poverty. I don't want to play. Fine, I agree. I understand that there is God. I understand that there is a purpose for my creation. Fine, but I'm not playing in this playground anymore. I don't want.
And then
I developed a certain exercise, like guided imagination, that the person realized that if he was living in a different way, he would not want to commit suicide. He would like to live.
And how is that exercise going? Can you tell something about it?
Do you want 3 days? 3 days to put it in 1 hour?
I'm sure you can do that.
So we do it. We go through
we already had 3,000 years in
exactly,
5 minutes, so that must be possible.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Our life is a microwave life. You put everything into a microwave. After 10 seconds, you have a good prepared meal. So that's one thing that we are doing. Put them with, bringing them to see that there is an option that they would like to live. And then there is a wonderful Torah, a wonderful piece of from a Hasidic rabbi that was living 300 years ago, that is teaching how to find good points, how to see positive in any situation that you see, even the worst ones. It's a technique.
Yes.
How you train your eyes, your brain, and then it goes down to your heart. Right? I'm a plumber, by the way, by profession.
Yes.
Yes.
What was the last time you plumbed something?
It depends.
Okay,
which kind of plumbing?
Yeah, okay.
What do you mean?
Let's go.
I'm a plumber.
Yeah?
Why? Because a person has pipes that goes from his head, from his brain to the heart, and a pipe that goes from the heart to the liver. Many times the pipe is blocked between the heart and between the brain and the heart.
Yeah.
Or to the liver. So if a pipe is blocked, whom are you calling?
The plumber.
A plumber.
Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah. Here you are.
Here you are.
Well, my pipe, I don't think so, but suppose my pipe is blocked.
Okay, I'll help you later.
Okay.
Okay, do you have a couch? Psychology. No, I'm joking.
you do something with those children.
So we do something with these kids to change the way of seeing things from negative to positive, even if they see somebody, a bad person, like a bad person. By the way, many times our approach to bad is not, this is not a Jewish approach. For instance, there was a very big rabbi in Israel that said that there is not a bad boy. There is a boy that feels bad.
That's quite a difference.
Unbelievable. There is no bad boy, there is boy that feels bad. Now we have to understand why he's behaving like he's behaving. And you have to feel his heart, to feel his pain. It's painful. And if you know how to touch the source, this is one of the methods, for instance, how you can see good in another fellow person. How you can take it out, how you can make this person that is like a fluorescent, that there is a dust of 200 years that cover it. How do you shine it? That the fluorescent will shine out. That's something, it's wisdom. How to do it. So there is a technique. And then a person is learning how to find good points, positive points in him. Because
can you...
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought the rabbis always put off that
technology,
kind of,
but I don't know how to shut it off. I told you before. I don't know how to do it.
You want to call someone?
What? No, I will shut it and
throw it away.
Yeah, throw it.
Away. All the modern kinds of things where we don't need it.
Sure.
Yeah, no, okay.
And the third day is, it's not enough the 2 first days. Why? Because if you go back to work, back to life, you'll forget it. The third day is you have to do something that will fulfill you, that you will feel that you are actually fulfilling your mission in life. So I build another technique, something. How do you know what's your duty in life?
Tell me.
Come on.
Yeah.
A microwave guy. We'll do some projects together. Maybe.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
I would like that. Yeah. But you have to find a purpose in life. Yes.
Yeah, and you have to do. And now you
have to act according to your purpose.
Exactly. So, for instance, I thought once that my purpose is to become an opera singer.
Well,
but my voice.
Your wife told you. You're not.
No, my voice was like a raven.
Yeah.
So when I went to a test, to a promotion, they kicked me out from all the stairs.
That's not your purpose.
No, exactly. So how do you know what you should do in life?
Yeah.
Okay, there is a technique for that. So these are the 3 things that I wrote. I have a raw material that I have to transfer it to workshops. I mean, I need to go away from civilization with a wise guy or a wise whatever, and just to make a brainstorm, and to start to work and to make it like a set thing. It can help millions of people in the world. It's not my wisdom, by the way, but it's something that you have to know how to transfer it, how to multiply it. From the raw material to workshops, and it's something that it's fantastic, very big power.
Can you tell a little thing about it? I want to hear.
What do you want,
wow,
Mr. Simon? What do you want from me?
Yeah, because I also I'm a pastor in the Netherlands. I talk with a lot of people, also younger people, and I see the stress in their eyes. I see the depression sometimes. Yesterday I talked with a young boy who exactly said what you said to me. He succeeded for his examination, because that's the time in the Netherlands now. And I asked him, what are you going to do now after this? I don't know. I think I'm going to study on maybe high school, maybe something else, but why should I? What are you going to do later in life? I don't know. I will see. The world is bad. Everything is bad. I don't know when the war comes here. I don't know. That's what I hear.
I'll tell you. I'll give you a tool that you can use it. First of all, when I met you 2 weeks ago, and I met you here before a little bit. You're a person that is out of the box.
Yes.
And that's one of the nutritions, one of the vitamins that a pastor needs, or any person that really deal with helping other people. You have to think out of the box, first of all. Second of all, to tell you the truth, once I thought that to be successful is 95% an effort you are putting, and 5% praying. Now I know it's exactly the opposite. If you will really ask from God and say, look God, this work, I don't like it. I don't want to meet all these problems. But you send in me, okay. I agree. I want to do what I can do. You gave me talents, I have to use them. Now, many people are not aware that actually God gave you presents, talents. So what they are doing, either they are becoming proud, me, I'm a talented person, I'm wise, I'm this, I'm that, or whatever I did, I was successful and so on. Or the opposite. The opposite is very bad too. It's like a minus, a negative humbleness, humble. When a person receives talents and he doesn't use it, and he says, no, I can't do it, let me pray, let me this, I want to worship God, leave me in my corner. And you don't use the talents that God gave you, that's terrible. God gave you a present. So what do you say? You say, Mr. God, thank you very much, I appreciate the presents you gave me, and you put the presents to the side, you overlook at it, you don't see it, you don't see the presents, and you continue your life. I have to work on my humble character trait. Fine. That's terrible. God gave you a present. Use it.
But
don't feel that it's your power. But use it.
I'm sorry I interrupt you, but yes. The start is God gave you presents. And maybe 60 years ago in the Netherlands, almost 90% of the people, and also the younger people, knew there is a God who created heaven and earth and gave you a soul and something to do in the world. But now, spiritually, not only in the Netherlands, Europe, and a lot of the Western world is quite empty. They don't believe in God. They just believe in a big bang, and they are... So, Mr.
Simon, where have you been up to now? How come that you didn't bring all Netherlands back to spirituality?
Therefore, I rented you today. You are going to do it for me.
It's very funny. Can I tell you a story of 2 minutes?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, there is time?
Even 3 minutes.
Even 3 minutes. So it's very funny.
Even 7 days. Let's go on. In 7 days there can happen a lot of things,
Sure.
Then we can arrest the last day, but go on.
My shortest lecture I ever gave was 2 minutes in South Africa.
Yes.
I arrived to South Africa, and there was a woman that heard that I came. She invited me to give a lecture in a school. Now the school was a high school, Jewish high school. There were more than 1,000 kids were learning there in this high school. Secular, totally secular, no believers at all. Now, all the kids were Jews, all the team were Jews, except one person, the principal. The principal was a Catholic a Catholic Christian. And this was a big luck. Why it was a big luck? Once I was just asking somebody, tell me, why did you choose a Christian Catholic principal?
Yeah, in a Jewish school.
In a Jewish school. I mean... And so many people are dealing with education and teachers and so on, everybody Jewish. So he said because he's professional, so they chose him. And this was the biggest luck of this school too. Why? Because Jews, secular Jews, when you try to bring some spirituality and they are secular, they're conscious, they feel that this is the way that they had to behave as well. But because they are not behaving, so they developed hatred and pushed it away, rejection. Right. So if the principal was Jewish, he wouldn't give a chance to bring lectures. But because he was Christian and a believer, so there was a woman that came to him and said, "Look, I would like to bring to the bigger." The longest break time between two classes, that was 20 minutes, I would like to bring from time to time lecturers that will give more awareness to spirituality, to God and so on. So he said, okay, good, because he was religious, Christian, so he respected.
He saw the importance of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I came to South Africa, she heard that I came, I want you to give a class in my to my kids, to the kids that want. It's not official. It's not a must to take a.
They could go outside, but freewheeling.
Outside the frame.
Yeah.
So I asked her to come by myself. No, I'll send a driver to take you because it's a couple of buildings. It's a huge crowd, more than 1,000 students. I was waiting outside the house that I was staying, and the driver didn't come. And I went back and forth on the sidewalk, and the driver didn't come, and he came late, and he apologized that there was traffic jam, big traffic jam. So I told him, listen, we have to fly now, push a button, tell your 20 years old car that your car is an helicopter, and let's go.
Because you had only 20 minutes.
Exactly, I had 20 minutes, but we were late already. So when we arrived to the school, we were running to the class, and right when we stepped in, the bell was ringing for the kids to go back to the next class.
So the 20 minutes were
finished. So I told the kids, I'm sorry, but the class is over. Oh, Rabbi, please. They were very upset. I said, what shall we do? We want to hear something. I said, yes, but you are going to get punished if you will be late to enter to the class.
Yeah, of course.
So they said, Rabbi, sometimes we can be a little bit late. But because we were waiting for 20 minutes for you, so tell us something. So I said, okay, how much time do I have? You can be late. So they were speaking about among themselves, and they said 2 minutes. So I said to myself, "Oi, the master of the world, what do you do for me? To me. 2 minutes, you don't start, and you finished already. I mean, what can you do with 2 minutes? Nothing.
Almost nothing, no.
Believe me, Simon, I couldn't even think about this idea. It's really help from heaven that put words in. I said, okay, sit down. Sit down. Look, to give you a class I can't, no time. But I can tell you about a miracle that happened to me on my way here. So everybody was, miracle. Wow. Everybody was sitting quietly and you know what, with. So there's a miracle. I said, when I was waiting to the driver, I was walking on the sidewalk, back and forth. The sun was shining, it was hot, and I started to become thirsty. And I started, to feel frustrated that I'm thirsty, and the driver didn't come. And I told myself, if we came early to the school, we could go to the team room, drink coffee. As I told you before, I'm a coffee addict.
Yes.
And no coffee, no interview. Yeah, right?
See.
This was a condition here.
You're already on your 7th cup of coffee, I think. But.
Sure. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
Mr. Simon, when you take a shower, what's going out from the faucet?
Maybe water?
For me, coffee. And when you give a blood test, what's getting out from your veins?
I will say coffee now, because you expect me to say that.
Okay, so I told them I was walking on the sidewalk, sweating and frustrated, and I said, God, what do you do for me? Why this? What's that? And I felt very frustrated. And then I heard an explosion. From above. I lift my eyes up, and I saw materials flying in the air. Boom! And then they came together, and a bottle of orange juice landed exactly on my direction on the sidewalk. Now I had a bottle of orange juice in my plastic bag.
So you showed it?
Yeah. So I took it up, I took it out, I put it on the table, and I said, look, this is the bottle. He said, look, it's symmetric. The bottle is symmetric. And the bottom, I don't know if you know, like a bottle of, here, give me this. And the bottom has like 5 legs, like Coke, like this bottle, the same level. And they look exactly the same. And I said the top of the screw of the top exactly fits to the screw of the bottle, I said. And there is a label here, there is a ticket here. And it says here 100% orange juice produced in South Africa. And the picture of an orange exactly like we have in Israel. Jaffa oranges. I said, I looked at it. I was shocked. And what was inside? Orange juice. And you won't believe, I told them, cold. So I lift my hands up and I said, thank you very much, Big Bang. Thank you very much, big explosion.
Well, that was a big bang, of course. Right. Yeah.
So, of course, the kids were laughing, and they went back to school, and 2 kids took me to the woman that brought me there. She was in another building. When we entered to the room, there was like a celebration there that she made for girls, and they had trays of sushi that they were giving over. So the 2 kids went to the teacher and said, teacher, ask him to tell you about a miracle that he had with sushi. Wise
Great,
kids.
yeah,
Wise kids.
Of course, yes.
So of course the creation is testifying or showing about the creator.
Yeah. Always, when you look at the creation, you know there must be a creator, but
right. And if you're really a believer, and if you really do things, and you really believe that the tools that you will need to help others is not yours, it's coming from God. I'll tell you a story, short story. Can I?
Yeah, of course. Go on. When you give me back my water, because I'm a little bit thirsty. I need a miracle.
You need a miracle. Fantastic. You are drinking from a miracle bottle.
Yeah, I see.
So this story, I said it here in the Netherlands as well. It's a story that maybe symbolizes the way that I'm working. You like stories?
Mm.
You know how story starts?
Once upon a time.
Great. So let's say it together.
Once upon a time.
It was around midnight, and I was sitting in my office, very tired like this, and I was planning to go home. So a girl entered to the SEM. Nobody was there. Like a wild wind. She entered inside. She entered to my office. She sat at the other side of the table and she started to cry. Okay, I was sitting on my chair, and I was listening to her, looking, and she was crying.
Just crying.
Just crying. And she was crying and crying, and I looked at the clock, at the watch, and she doesn't finish. She didn't finish.
Only
now, usually, a person is crying. There is a certain amount. You can't cry for a long time. There is a limitation to your crying. Yeah. And then you stop, But she didn't stop. And she didn't look at me even. She didn't see me. Just crying, pouring her heart. And so I saw, and I felt, I knew that she's in a very, very heavy, big crisis.
You saw it?
I mean, you could see it, because she didn't stop. I mean, it's not normal. I mean, it's not something that it's really not regular, not normal. So I decided I must break the frame of mind that she had. So I started to laugh. And when she felt that I'm laughing, she got offended. She got hurt.
Yeah.
So she started to cry stronger. And she was starting to cry stronger, so I was laughing stronger. And when I was laughing stronger, she was crying stronger.
It was a competition.
And exactly. And it became like a competition. So, like this, and I was, she was like that, and I was like, it became like crazy. if somebody took a video, if maybe you can invite Hank
to play it.
Yeah. Straight to a cuckoo house, both of us.
He's not a good actor, but maybe someday I will ask.
Right, so both of us to a cuckoo house. It was really crazy. She was crying hard and I was laughing strong, like it was crazy. And then something happened here by her. She got, probably, I'm saying, I was not in her mind, but I could imagine that she got confused. What's going on here? Why the rabbi is laughing
just
at
laughing,
me?
Yeah.
I mean, you will not laugh at somebody that says pain.
It's not respectful.
It's not respectful. I mean, it's not normal. I mean, nobody do such a thing. Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. What's going on here? So it shocked her. I mean, it really did shake her state of mind, and she started to slow down. And to say, and to make like short breaks between the cryings parts. And then she said, I want to know why the rabbi is laughing. I said, and I want to know why you are crying. I said, but I want to know why the rabbi is laughing. I said, and I want to know why you are crying.
Yeah.
So she said, but I asked first. She said, now I'm not European, I'm a chutzpah Israeli guy. So she said, so what if you asked first? I said, you will answer first. I told her. So she said that she can't win over me.
She can't make you stop laughing.
Right. I mean, she can't really bring me to do what she wants.
No.
So she slowed down more. And she said, okay. She said, I'll tell you. I'm crying because the world is, and I don't want to repeat the nasty word that she said about the world. It's not a nice word.
But it was very bad.
Very bad word, yeah.
Dark, bad word for...
Exactly. So, and she said, and she stopped. Almost she stopped like crying. And she said, okay, she said, now I want to know why the rabbi was laughing. She didn't give up, huh?
No, of course not.
So I said to her, "Ooh," I said, "I don't believe," I said, "you was crying because the world is..." And I repeated the word exactly because I wanted her to plant in her brain that I understood her very well. That she will not be mistaken. Maybe I didn't understand her. So she said, so I said, wow, I said, you was crying because of this, because the world is this. I was laughing because of the same reason. Because the world is like this. She was so shocked. So she asked me, is this a reason to laugh? I said, sure. So she said, how come? So he said, if this is the world, I said, at least enjoy it. She stood up, turned her back, and left the room. Something like half a year ago. Half a year later.
Half a year?
Half a year later.
You let her go and...
She went. She didn't say goodbye. She didn't say anything. She just turned her back. She just turned her back and left the room. Okay?
Yes, and then?
Fine, and left. Half a year later, a girl stepped into my seminary. And she came to me, good evening, Rabbi. I said, good evening. Do you recognize me? So at the beginning, I didn't recognize her, because I see a lot of girls, and I try, even if I see them, I try not to really see to the depth, because girls, boys, like we have a certain... So it took me a couple of seconds, and then I said, oh, I said, you are the crying girl. So she said, yes. So I said, thanks God, I see that you finished finally. So she was laughing, and she said, yes, I finished. So she asked me, can we talk? I said, of course, it's a democratic country. So I told her, come, enter to my office. She entered to my office. She sat down. And she said, look, I came to say thank you. I said, thank me for what? For the fact that I was crying? That I was laughing? So she said, no, I want to tell you a story, she said. At that day, at that night that I came, I was planning to commit suicide. Now, it was not the first time. And I had a friend that I used to tell her my problems and everything. And even when I wanted to commit suicide, I was telling her, you know, what my planning is. And always she had somehow a way to take me out from the situation. At that night, I decided, that's it. I'm not going to listen to her. I'm not going to follow what she will do. I'm going to kill myself. So I said, thanks God, I see that you are alive. What happened? I said. I said, what happened to you?
Yeah.
So she said that her friend said, look, I did everything I could. I don't know what to tell you. And right before I left her, she said, do you know what? There is here an unconventional rabbi and a place, interesting place, called Shurashim Center. Go there, speak. I'm sure he will not tell you what to do. You know? And then do whatever you want, whatever you plan to do. So she decided to do it. So she came up. So I said, thanks God, I see that you are alive. What happened? So she said, you changed the way of looking, the perspective of looking at life. So she came to thank. Now actually, what is the problem usually? The problem usually that everything is from here. Two people can see the same situation, analyze it totally the opposite time. You know, and it depends which way you choose to see things. Now, sometimes it's coming with your nature, with your background. You know, the way that you see things are actually, it's like a whole picture of many things that are connect to it. But if you really shake the state of mind, and if you really, I saw miracles with that. I saw guys that rebuilt themselves from hard drugs by themselves.
Just by thinking out of the box and confront them with something.
I have crazy stories, but this is the only interview that we have, so...
Well, maybe there is coming another one, but we cannot go on the whole day.
Right, exactly.
There
are many stories that I can tell.
Very good stories.
What?
Yes, they're very good stories. Yes.
I think that the stories are real material for life, real tools for life, and it's a teaching for all of us, even for me and you.
Yeah, well, of course, I learned from you this morning already, because there are a lot of things in this world I'm not happy with, and when I look around, and I have, and I know you also have a lot of children and grandchildren, and even grandchildren, and
grandchildren I don't have yet.
I have one.
Really?
Yes.
Wow,
yes,
okay,
yes.
Because you are much older than me.
Yeah.
I'm 18 and a half plus a couple of years.
Well, I'm 19 and a half plus a couple of years, yes. But, when I look in the future, I only look in the future, then I'm not happy. When I see what the world is going crazy, when I see that technique is winning the world, when I hear a Jewish professor like Harari saying, we are going to do it better than God, and they want to do the transhumanism and everything like that, and I'm not happy with this world, and I'm sometimes afraid for my children and grandchildren and so on.
So you need to learn more ethic subjects and to improve yourself, to promote yourself to a higher level, Mr. Pastor, because I don't have time to feel bad. You've got to be more busy.
Yeah. I tell that to my wife. She says I'm too busy, but yeah, okay. I understand what you say. So
no, I mean it's not our duty, it's not our mission in life to feel bad or to feel good. Or, we came here to do certain thing. Do what you have to do and go up. And finish. I'm not afraid, for instance, from death. Death. I'm not afraid.
No.
I came here for a certain reason. After I'll complete my duty here, bye-bye.
You're immortal as long as God wants you to be here. Isn't it? Yeah.
No self-interest.
No. But you're right. My task, and I think your task, and all our, for all of us, the task is to love our neighbor, to do what God gave us to do, and not to save the world, because that's up to Him, isn't it?
But you have to save whoever you can.
Yes.
You have to do whatever
around
you can.
Me, our neighbor, who's close to me, who come to me, what's on my way.
Right. Because I hear a lot of problems, a lot of people, helping a lot of people. For instance, somebody came to me and we started to talk, and I told him that I'm sure I'm going to go to paradise. She said, how are you sure? I said, I'm 100% sure I'm going to go to paradise and not to hell. So ask me, how do you sure? How are you sure? Do you know? How do you know? I said, because the hell I received here in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a good answer.
You know, you are not judged twice. Just to hear stories of what's going on, it's weakening you.
Well, we have to stop this interview, and I want to thank you very much for the stories you told me. We shared, and I hope you and I become wiser. For you, it's almost impossible, but I can grow something.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm kidding, of course. But
I don't have a tiny, no minimum percent from the whole universe.
I was just kidding. I was just kidding, of course. But I thank you for your wisdom and what you shared with us. And I hope that a lot of people, and maybe young people who see no future for themselves, are helped by your story about laughing, for instance, and that they start to look at themselves and look at me. I'm worried why I start laughing, and there is a task for me in the world, and maybe there is coming a miracle, a bottle from heaven in their hands, and they at once see that there must be a creator who has a purpose for them in life, and who want them to be what they are in life.
Right, and I want to say too that maybe the first step for people to help themselves is to start to help others. So if people want to join a project here, to gather people that can be coaches, to help with develop material, to support maybe humanitarian place here in the Netherlands or in Israel, they are welcome to help
Always
me
welcome.
And to free me to do other things as well that are important for universe and so on. So
we will mention the possibilities for you and for other things under the on my website under the interview.
Great, and if people
they
want
can
to
reach
call
you
me,
when
to
they
reach me by phone, by WhatsApp, by mail I'm not using much,
Great.
but no time for that. But I'll try.
Thank you.
I'll try, and we can maybe do something together.
Maybe.
Yeah.
God willing, we will do.
Sure.
Yeah? And together we are waiting for the coming of the Messiah, and till that time we are working together, isn't
What
it?
a question.
Okay.
100%.
Thank you.
1 + 1, it's 3.
Yeah, I know that.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
Sure. And if other people will join, it can become a huge power, massive power.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for looking at this interview, this conversation. For me, it was a great invitation, and I learned a lot of things. I think that I speak for you when I thank Rabbi Moshe for all his words he spoke. And you heard it. When you have questions, you can ask him or me, and always available. When you like the video, like it under what you see. Share it with your friends and your enemies when you have, because especially your enemies need those kinds of things. So thank you very much, and hope to see you again.
I just want to say, can I say one
last word? Yeah.
Rabbi Nachman from Breslev said that the person that you hate the most is the person that needs the most your mercy feelings towards him.
Well, that's a great addition to what
you said.
Yeah.
That if they have enemies, that they should give them. Don't have enemies, don't hate nobody.
So it is. Well, shalom and quit.
Good night, everybody.